Good evening, everyone. So, today we have Sucharita Sen Gupta, who is a consultant nutritionist, diabetes educator, and food safety supervisor based in Kolkata. She received many prestigious awards from various organizations such as IDA, ICN, IIT Patna, etc. Today's topic of the webinar is Bridging the Gap Between Behavior and Food Intake Pattern in Children. We would have a one-to-one doubt session after a few minutes. I would request all the parents or the professionals to raise your hand to ask any question and that would be answered. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so a very good afternoon to one and all. So today's my topic is the relationship, bridging the gap between the food intake pattern and the behavioral disorder that we see nowadays in children. So to start with, child behavior and the food intake pattern have been found to be very closely linked with each other. Now, there are various studies that have been conducted which shows that there are certain foods which can trigger certain behavioral disorders like learning disabilities or ADHD, which we call as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So while designing a child's diet, that might seem like a daunting task at first. Many parents end up feeling that no, this would be a very difficult task for us to do. But when they start seeing the positive change in their child's behavior, which requires very less medication to treat so, then they are ready to bring certain positive changes in the diet pattern. Now, to start with, so as I have mentioned, certain food do have a very positive effect as well as a negative effect on the behavioral changes. Now, to start with, so there are dairy products which have been reported to be a very important agent which can cause certain behavioral changes in case of children. Now, what are the symptoms that we can see? We can see congestion, bloating, tiredness, irritability, depression, anxiousness, and also unable to concentrate. That is lack of attention. So dairy is one of the food allergen. Coming to the second part is gluten intolerance or gluten irritability. So these you will find in products such as wheat, which means most of the breads and breakfast cereals and crackers have this agent gluten. So when children take this kind of gluten present foods which are present, which contains gluten, you can see certain symptoms like irritability, aggressiveness, and other behaviors that gluten can trigger. And the third thing, which I believe that may trigger this behavioral disorder in children, are the artificial food dyes or certain agents which we add in food many times to increase the food stability or shelf life. Now, these are often added to increase the shelf life and make the food very nice, colorful, to make the children accept the food very in a very positive sense. So when you consume this when children consume this kind of food where artificial food dyes are present, then hyperactivity has been reported that certain children do show certain kind of this hyperactivity. So when there are also certain foods which helps to build up a very nice behavioral change in children. Coming to that part, you need to concentrate on the protein part of a food like meat, nuts, beans. There are also complex carbohydrates that can help, along with omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, iron, zinc. So the children which we see often have some kind of behavioral disorders are often prescribed to have a diet which contains all these types of nutrients that are present in the right proportion. So starting with the first thing which I would like to start is the diet free of this kind of additives can be much healthier, and children who have this kind of diet which are enriched with omega-3 fatty acid, iron, zinc, magnesium, sufficient amount of protein would be more well behaved and have better concentration. Coming to ADHD and elimination diets. On rare occasions, children with ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder have reacted to a group of naturally occurring chemicals known as salicylates. So those things which are present in these kind of foods are need to be avoided. Coming to the importance of omega-3 fatty acids, which are present in fatty fish, oily fish like salmon, tuna, mackerel, these are very important in a child that should be present in a child's diet. One of the most important areas of research is in this relationship between food and behavior, focuses on getting children to eat more of this oily fish, which are rich in this omega-3 fatty acids. Now, oily fish contain beneficial fatty acids which positively influence the behavioral changes, and they also influence the signals sent back and forth between the brain and different parts of the body. Icosapentaoic acid, which we often refer to as EPA, is one of the two main types of fish oil that has been shown in studies to have the power to stabilize the mood swings and generally improve concentration, behavior, learning disabilities of children with ADHD. So if your child doesn't like this, having this oily fish and all, I would recommend that your child can have a supplement in his or her diet. Next is iron and zinc deficiency. If a child's diet is lacking this iron or zinc, then it can be implicated that the child will have some kind of behavioral disorder. So under 2 years of age, a period of rapid brain development takes place. Iron deficiency appears to be a serious concern and can result in long-term problems with attention and also mood. So emerging research also shows that many children with ADHD have lower levels of zinc in their diet, and they can improve the zinc levels in children with ADHD by having certain foods which are rich in iron and zinc. So what is the psychology of eating? I believe there is a saying which goes like, you are what you eat, but I believe you are what you have been eating since your childhood. So it's very important to design your child's diet, start like from the beginning. It's not that you should design a child's diet from 10 years or 12 years. It should start from the day he or she is born. So by learning how to make healthier and more mindful choices, you may be able to control compulsive eating, binging, and also weight gain. So overall, there are many benefits to change this deep-seated unhealthy eating habits, such as increase in energy level alertness, a more positive relationship with food, improved health, easier movement, and also improved body image. Nowadays, we often get this complaint from the parents that my child is not active, my child is lacking some kind of attention. So I would suggest, before going to any kind of specialist, always have a thorough knowledge of like what you are feeding your child. Is your child getting the right amount of nutrients in his or diet or not? If, as I have told you, certain food allergen like coming from dairy, gluten, artificial, this preservative coming from processed food, try to go for this elimination diet one by one and see whether your child is having any kind of positive behavioral change or not. So what factors influence our eating behaviors? That is, one is cultural, second is social, third is evolutionary, fourth is family. Now, many people use food as a coping mechanism to deal with such feeling as stress, tension, boredom, anxiety, and a prolonged feeling of joy or happiness. So while this may help in short-term gaining of this goal, but long-term effect is very detrimental. So tips for healthy eating would be, don't skip your meals. Do plan your meals and snack prior. Like you shouldn't be having, if you are having breakfast, you should be planning what you are going to have in your breakfast 1 to 2 hours before you have your breakfast. Do limit night eating, do drink of plenty of water and also a whole lot of fiber. Do be attentive when you eat, like don't watch TV or don't listen to any music or something like that. Just concentrate on while you are eating. Do watch your portion sizes. This portion size is a very important thing when you are having your food, because if if your concentration, if your attention is getting diverted, you are not keeping a track on how much and what you are taking. So at the last, you may end up having lots of food or certain foods which are not that important. Allow yourself to a wide range of food. Try to have a very wide variety of foods by including various colorful foods. Don't go for only white foods. Always go for colorful foods. Do use the scale mindfully. Do think of eating healthfully as a lifestyle change, and do make mindful and healthy food choices. So a food diary is a tool to record in detail, like what food you are taking, when you are taking, and how you are feeling when you are taking the food. Now coming to the next part, sugar is also a vital factor when I'm talking about food allergen, in case of which negatively impact the behavioral disorder in children. So sugar can cause a child to be hyperactive unless they are eating a whole food-based diet. Sugar is in just about bringing everything the average child eats. So sugar has been shown to cause long-term health damage, and a diet rich in already high in processed food has been linked into depression, cognitive delay, and also sleep problems. Other food allergens I have already discussed, like dairy, gluten, artificial this coloring agents. So diet can affect the cognitive ability and also the behavior in children and adolescents. Nutrient composition and designing the meal pattern can exert immediate or long-term beneficial or adverse effects. So beneficial effects mainly result from the correction of poor nutritional status. For example, thiamine, it's a vitamin, B vitamin. Treatment reverses aggressiveness in thiamine deficient people. In spite of potent biological mechanisms that protect brain activity from the disruption, some cognitive functions appear to be sensitive in short-term basis in the absence of fuel that we normally say it is a glucose. A glucose load, for example, acutely facilitates mental performance, particularly on demand basis. The mechanism of this often has been not clear. So coming to the next part, what are the nutrients that we need to see when we are designing a child's diet plan, or to keep a balanced diet as well as from the behavioral aspect? Magnesium, zinc, omega-3 fatty acid, vitamin D, vitamin B complex, protein, and complex carbohydrate, and also fiber. These are the things which we need to see while we are designing a diet of a child. Now, there is also this thing which I believe you need to make your child eat at a regular intervals. The importance of specific nutrients in a child's diet is very important. Like I have mentioned, iron, zinc, magnesium, and all. And here comes that studies of single nutrients, like using the individual nutrients to improve mood, behavior, or learning in children often produce disappointing results. This is probably because single nutrients can't work. It's better to always incorporate one or more nutrients in your diet to make it work in a better way. Coming to dietary sources of some important nutrients, like vitamin D you can get from sunlight or certain foods which have fortified vitamin D, and oily fish. They are also present in omega-3 fatty acid. They are also present in walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, and all. Coming to the iron part, it is present in various green leafy vegetables, red organ meat. It can be included in your child's diet every day on an everyday basis. Next part is probiotics. You need to improve the gut microbiota, intestinal gut microbiota in your children. So you can do it by incorporating certain probiotics in your child's diet. It can be like yogurt, it can be some buttermilk in your diet, in your child's diet plan. So what it does, it helps to improve the immunity of your children, and also in the long run, it will play a very positive impact in your child's behavior. Next is dietary sources of fiber. So coming to the dietary sources of fiber, it can be like fruits, vegetables, whole grain, cereals, beans, nuts. However, sometimes the fiber is removed or reduced during the food processing technique. for example, in white bread, fruit juice, and some breakfast cereal. So it's always better to have a whole fruit rather than a glass of fruit juice. Now, what does an adequate and varied diet look like? For most children over 2 years of age, if they are including a variety of foods from each group, then likely they are to be getting most of what they actually need. And food intolerance, we often see some children are suffering from food intolerance, like it can be lactose intolerance, that like they are unable to take milk and milk products, or it can be gluten intolerance, like they are not able to take wheat and wheat products. So the top tips that I would like to give is eating a wide variety of nutritious food throughout the day, eating regular meals, including foods which are rich in dietary fiber. Nutritional supplements can also help in children whose diet is not designed accordingly. So these are the top tips that I would like to give to the parents of children. And here I would like to conclude my whatever I have to say. Now I think it's open for questionnaire session.
You can type in your questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Trupti, you can ask your question. You are
Okay.
on unmute now.
Yes. Hello, ma'am. It was a nice session by you. I'm
Okay.
Dr. Trupti. I
Okay.
would just like to ask one thing, that it was been advised to have a gluten-free diet for my kid. She is a hyperactive child. So,
Okay.
so they have said that they have suggested that to roast the wheat to
Okay.
remove the gluten. So I just want to know how much we have to roast, and can we give dalia in that case to the kids by roasting it? Means how
See,
we should.
yes, roasting is a cooking technique by which the outer layer of the food, like we can roast anything. It can be like we can roast seeds, we can roast anything. Roasting is a cooking technique which removes the outer coating of different food products. So if you are roasting different wheat products, it's a nice technique. You can include roasted items, roasted gluten items to your children.
So, ma'am, how much we have to roast it? Like, is there anything sufficient? Like,
You can see it visually till it comes to a brownish, light brownish texture.
okay. And one more thing, that does it cause the constipation in some kids because of
No,
gluten?
see, I believe one size doesn't fit all. So if you notice constipation in your child, I think you can recall what diet plan, what diet design you are giving to your child, and then see it. Like it's not always feeding a child with gluten containing food will result in constipation.
Because I have been continuously observing that the moment I give, whether it is chapati of gluten-free wheat flour or something like that, so in that case, she experiences the constipation.
Okay, so are you adding fiber to the diet of your child?
Yes, more of salad I'm adding. It's dairy-free also. So I just
Okay.
wanted to know, this was the main concern about me. So in that case, how can we give only to the gluten free like chapati? How, in what form? Anyways, I am giving her multivitamin, multigrain chapati, sir, but only wheat if I give gluten free. In that case, she is getting constipation.
See, you
I did.
can give various products of gluten, but I would request you to avoid roti or chapati as of now. Since
Okay.
it's a coarse thing of gluten, you can give dalia, whole wheat dalia, that is a good option. But if
So,
you're,
do I need to roast it, dalia, or no
yes,
need?
you need to lightly roast it before preparing it, before cooking it.
Okay. And ma'am, one more thing, that probiotic you have mentioned again. So, if probiotic in that you have mentioned about the yogurt, right? So, in that
Yes.
case, if we are avoiding the dairy products, so in which like alternative for this?
You can go for lactose free. You can go for lactose free curd, lactose free milk. They are available everywhere.
Okay, lactose-free milk, like soya milk, can we give, ma'am, in that
Yes,
case?
yes, you can give.
Yes. Okay, okay, okay. So can we take it? Means again they'll be with the preservative, artificial.
Yes, yes,
How can
lactose free
we
will be
avoid?
like that only. Yes, but
And how
that is
can we
present
avoid?
in very minute proportions.
Okay,
So if you want
okay,
to get the benefit of probiotic, so you have to consider that also. Like
okay,
you can't
okay.
get without preservative if you're buying a commercial lactose free milk or something like that.
So on and off, once in a while, once in a month, can we give the normal dairy product, or we should completely stop it?
No, no,
Like,
don't stop it completely, because many a times it happens that your child, once in a while, your child is having that and no problem is being noticed. So you never
okay,
know. For X
yes,
years, your child is experiencing this kind of problem. After, say, suppose after X years, that problem is totally gone. So unless and
okay.
until you are incorporating that in your child's diet, you can't see the change. No, but don't stop anything completely from your child's diet.
Okay. So, ma'am, how much I should be giving if just in case if it is required?
50 grams, suppose you are giving lactose free curd, it's 50 grams. Suppose you are giving lactose free milk, it is 150 to 200 ml.
Okay, okay. And ma'am, one more thing, the dry fruits.
Yes.
Nut, you said for the essential amino acids.
Walnuts. Yes.
Yes. So, can we give that?
Yes, absolutely. One handful of nuts is sufficient.
Okay, okay. Because I am already taking a sessions from Mom's Belief in Akbar, but they
Okay.
have totally asked me to stop the dry fruits.
No, initially, if you see certain changes in your child after you are incorporating nuts, then as I have mentioned, the elimination diet thing, you need to
Yes.
slowly eliminate certain foods from your child's diet and see whether they are bringing any positive change in your child's behavior or not. Like you're talking about hyperactivity.
Yes.
So when you are removing the nut part from your child's diet, just notice whether this hyperactivity thing is going down or not. If it's not going down, then it's not because of the nut category of
Okay.
food group.
And ma'am, any kind of sugar substitute can we
See,
have?
I don't believe in artificial sweeteners. So sugar substitute, you can always go for fruits, dates, which are natural sweeteners.
Natural
Okay.
substitute. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh, and jaggery we can give, right, ma'am?
Yes. Yes. Jaggery powder, jaggery you can give.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. It was a
Yes.
nice session. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Thank you, Trupti. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, our next participant is Misha.
Okay.
I'll be unmuting her now. Misha, you can ask your question.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know that my daughter, she's turning 4 this June, and she just refuses milk and curd or any product which is related to probiotics. So now I don't know how to, deal with this because she's only having paneer when it comes to, a white colored product. So as you said, probiotics is very important for the body and for the gut. So how do I, add on this diet to her food intake?
See, children always love this kind of colorful thing. So you can make a berry smoothie, a glass of berry smoothie, which is red in color probably, or a kiwi smoothie, which is green in color probably. Or you can do something like as an evening snack, you can prepare cucumber carrot stick with a dip. And the dip can be made with curd and garlic and onion. So in dip form or in smoothie form, you can incorporate curd or milk.
Okay. And that's all. That's about it. I mean, when I want to include curd only in smoothie forms or any other, like, can we use hung curd also? Will that also be
Yes,
equally
yes,
probiotic?
yes, absolutely.
Okay. Ma'am, I have one more question.
Yes.
As when it comes to eating food, now my children, actually, I have 3 kids. So all are under the age of 4. Now, my elder one, she's very finicky with food and tastes. So I'm trying to prepare colorful food, as you said. But I don't know, somehow when she refuses, the other two also start refusing, that we also don't want to eat. So it's very difficult to handle their tantrums. And, the elder one is. Instead of chewing the food, she swallows the food because of which she has constipation problems. So
Yeah.
how do I deal with that?
So I would ask you to take your food along with them and you be a role model in front of them. So that's a primary technique which you can adopt to cope up this problem, because you can't ask a child that you need to chew your food and then swallow it, because once the food gets inside the mouth of your child, now it's up to him or her, he will chew it or swallow it. Unless and until you are being a role model, you are sitting beside your child and having it, like you are teaching your child in a practical way that, see, you have to chew it like this and then swallow it. Otherwise, these are the problem which you will face. So in this way you can do so. And another thing, try to, I know it will be a tough job for you being a mom, but you can make various types of tiffin or snacks using carrot, cucumber, spinach, and various nutrients, and design your plate in a nice manner so that they feel tempted to have those. Since they are under the age of 4, this visual thing is a very important part in their life. If they feel that, yes, this is nice, this looks nice, I think we should try. Unless and until it looks nice and tempting and lucrative, they won't, I mean, they will keep throwing tantrums like, no, I am not feeling, I'm not able to take this.
Right. That sounds really helpful, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question last.
Yes.
I want
yes.
to know is that I'm feeding them milk twice a day, which is, I think, enough for a child. But sometimes what happens is that, when they want to skip the breakfast, then I feel that when they want to skip the dinner, is it just a glass of milk a proper diet for the child?
See, a glass of milk is a complete food, we say, like khichdi is a complete food of a mixture of rice and dal. So milk is also a complete food, but till the age of 2 or 3, we say so. Approaching 4 is quite like only a glass of milk would be nutritionally low. It will like they won't feel hungry after having a glass of milk, but nutritionally it is a bit low if they have it only for dinner.
Okay. And ma'am, cow's milk, is it really good for the children? Cow's milk, if we get fresh cow's milk?
See, cow's milk, it's better among all the milk. It's better to have cow's milk, definitely, but you also need to have a check on the percentage of fat it has, like 1.5% fat or 3% fat. If your child is having a healthy weight, then 3% fat is okay. But if your child is becoming slightly overweight or obese, then switch to 1.5% fat. And you also can go for almond milk or soya milk if they are not allergic to soya and almond.
Okay. And ma'am, should we add sugar to the milk? Because I usually don't.
No, adding sugar is not a nice option. If your child wants to have the milk in a sweeter note, then you can add certain fruits, or dates is a nice option, or coconut sugar or jaggery powder.
So till what age we should not give sugar or add any sugar to their milk? Till what age we should avoid that?
Under the till age 2, it is advisable not to add too much of salt or sugar. After the age group, once your child crosses this 2 years of age, you can slowly add sugar, but try to avoid white sugar. It's called like white poison. So try not to bring white sugar to your house. I mean, it's for your children and also for yourself, your husband, and for the benefit of all family members. Always buy the jaggery powder or the natural sugar, fruit sugar, which are present commercially nowadays.
Okay. And mishri is a good option if we want to use it in once in a day to sugar, or that is also equally bad?
No, that is comparatively better than sugar, but not better than jaggery powder or fruit sugar. It's in between.
Okay. And what about brown sugar, ma'am?
Brown sugar, it's better to have, like you and your family members can have, but not children.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering all my questions and my queries, ma'am. It's really helpful. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Ma'am, we have another question from Smita. Then we have a few questions in the chat boxes also. So
okay.
Now I will be unmuting Smita. Smita, you can ask your question now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, Suchitra. I am Smita here.
Okay.
My child is 7 years old and he's on the spectrum. And one question is this Nemetschek protocol. This talk about olive oil, inulin, and fish oil. So does that really help? I haven't tried because I'm a bit. Because they have talked about a few brands of olive oils, and to get that here also is a bit of a problem. But I wanted to know if it really works.
See, inulin, I would say it works on a 50%, 50-50 basis. But coming to the olive oil and fish oil part, I mean, they work. They actually work. But as I say, one size doesn't fit all. So in your child, you have to see how much it works. So unless and until you are incorporating that in your child's diet, it's very difficult to say how, in what percentage it will work.
Okay. And then I have another question because he regressed at 3 years of age. Before that, he used to eat everything. Now he's only eating. It's confusing because he eats crisp dosas and akki roti, which are crisp, but he loves bread. So when I talked to one of his therapists, she said that it is because he likes fermented things. But that is not the case when he's eating idli or paddu. He doesn't like that. But the bread is very soft and he eats that. And now we are stuck with only 2 or 3 items for him for, all day. So, I'm a bit confused that what is happening here, kind of.
See, this is a short-term problem which you are facing. After a few years, this problem probably will not there. So you have to be patient till then.
Yeah, because
it's not like that.
Okay, because usually what happens is all other kids are eating everything, and wherever I go, I have to carry something for him. And yes, so it is becoming. I mean, I'm very first. I thought like he only it is because of the crisp texture of these things, but then it got a bit confusing because he likes soft texture also, like bread. So that's why I thought I'll ask you and see what is it about.
Okay.
Okay,
So
thank
this
you
is
so
a very short-term thing. You just be patient with whatever is happening and slowly introduce the softer form of like idli and all. Maybe after a year or more than that, he'll be able to take that.
Yeah, ma'am. And one last thing is like many people tell me starve him till he deprive him of anything till he starts eating. But I find it very, because he's non-verbal, so he cannot convey even if he's very hungry. So is it the right way to do things that starve him of all the food and then force him to eat whatever is
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can keep a plate of you can keep his food plate in front of him and then see what reaction your child is giving. But it's a very, very bad idea. If you ask me, again, it's a personal thing to starve your child and then force feed.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, now we have a few questions in the chat box. I'll read out the questions to you.
Yeah.
Dr. Swanji has asked, in case of autism child, can we give camel milk, which is available in the market in dried powder form?
See, often this acts as a food allergen. So what? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. You can continue.
Yes. So often this acts as a food allergen. So you can give your child, but be very, very cautious about what proportion you are giving. If it suits your child, then you can continue with it. But otherwise, this dairy category of thing is very risky when you are feeding your child who suffers from autism.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, next question is give me a second. Next question is what diet would you recommend for a child with speech impairment?
For speech impairment, a child's diet should be rich in various nutrients, especially the protein part. Protein, why I'm highlighting the protein part? Because it helps in the bodybuilding part, repair and wear and tissue of this your body. body. So protein is a very important thing which you need to take care of while designing your child's diet plan. And the sources of protein can be, the plant sources can be lentils and legumes and beans, various seeds, and the animal sources can be like fish, mutton, and various kinds of this organ meats, eggs. It can be like that. The protein part you need to take care of mainly.
Okay, ma'am, we are getting a lot many questions regarding the diet suggestions. So, ma'am, can you tell in a brief, like from 2 to 5, from 5 to 6, can you tell in brief, like what kind of diet should the parents give their children? Like we have some generic questions, age
Okay.
specific, good for
Okay.
brain development, gain weight. Yeah.
Okay, so coming
Yeah.
to start with brain development, certain nutrients are very important. Primarily the omega-3 fatty acid, which I have already mentioned. You can incorporate it by having a supplement, or you can take fish oil, or then walnuts you can take. You can take various seeds which are available, like melon seeds, sunflower seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds. For brain development, this omega-3 fatty acid is very, very important, along with vitamin D. And then talking about in general the diet plan of children, I would like to mention that certain nutrients should build up the food plate of your child. First thing is carbohydrate, and it should be like from complex carbohydrate, not the simpler one. White rice is a form of simpler carbohydrate. By complex carbohydrate, I mean wheat products, oats, quinoa, millets, ragi. Ragi is a very good source of iron, which I think you should incorporate in your child's menu. It can be in the form of a breakfast cereal. Next is the protein part. So the carbohydrate can be like 60% of the food plate should be filled up with carbohydrate. The next is the protein part, which I have mentioned the sources already. And the third is the fat. Not all fats are bad. There are good fats, there are bad fats. Bad fats are those which are like saturated fats and all, trans fats. The good fats are coming from various seeds and nuts, avocado and all. So these good fats are very, very essential, because there are certain vitamins which we need in our body, like A, D, E, K. These are fat soluble vitamins. So unless and until your body has sufficient good fat, these vitamins, even if you take it from food or supplements, these vitamins will not be able to get absorbed in your body. So fat is very essential. So complex carbohydrate, good protein, good fats are very important, along with water and dietary fiber. And dietary fiber, you can take it from various fruits and vegetables. And if your child is not able to take fruits and vegetables due to whatever be the reason, but you still need to incorporate dietary fiber, then you can take a spoonful of plant-based dietary fiber, which are commercially available in the market, and that you can incorporate in your child's menu. And as your child is growing, like 4 to 5, 5 to 6 years, as you have mentioned, you need to increase the protein part of your child's diet. The carbohydrate part will remain 50% to 60%, but you need to emphasize on the protein part, because the protein will help your child to grow. So unless and until you are increasing the protein part in your child's diet plan, it is not advisable. Like it won't be a good idea when you are planning the diet of your child.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one more question from Kriti. My daughter is 3 and she was born underweight, and still she is only 10 kg. What can she give her to increase her weight?
Okay, there are various weight gaining food which you can add in your child's menu, like the sattu drink you can have. You can give banana walnut smoothie in your child's menu. These are sources of good fats. You can give sweet potato. Potato in general, I don't recommend people who are overweight and obese, but sweet potato is very, very nutrient dense food product, which helps you to gain weight, as well as it has many nutrients which will help your child's helping your child's brain development and overall development. So you can go for banana walnut smoothie. You can give this any food products which you can add sattu, Bengal gram flour to your child's menu. You need to have good fats to help your child gain weight. and that you can incorporate from the seed part, nuts part. And also you need to give milk. You need to add milk to your child's diet. And when you are giving milk to your child's diet, don't go for low fat milk. Always give high full fat milk, since your child is underweight.
Yes, ma'am. We have one more question from Ankita Sharma. She is asking that can she add honey in milk? Will it be a good idea?
See, honey nowadays are too much adulterated. Even the trusted brands are failing to meet the standards. So if you are giving organic honey, it's still okay, but I would suggest you to give dates, natural sweeteners, that are dates, different sweet fruits which you can add to your child's diet. Honey is a so-so option to include in your child's diet plan.
There is one more question from Suranjali. Please share some food item list to avoid hyperactivity.
See, I have already mentioned that there are 5 things which you need to avoid. If you avoid these 5 things, whatever you can add to your child's menu to reduce this hyperactivity thing. So the first part, I was talking about the dairy group. The second part, I was talking about the artificial coloring agents, the food items which have this artificial food colors and all. You can remove the soya containing food group from your child's menu, corn and soya products, and also sugar and this white sugar thing from your child's diet menu. Also, do not use extra salt. You can add different kinds of spices and herbs like oregano, thyme and all, parsley, onion, garlic, but don't add extra salt to make your child's food palatable. So if you eliminate these kinds of food, then you can add anything in your child's diet plan. Just eliminate these 5 things.
We have one more question, which is specific from Vidya Kartik. She says that her son is 8 months old. Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. Just a second. She says that her son is 8 months old and he's just 4.5 kilograms. What can she give him? He has stopped breastfeeding, and also he's not fond of plain rice. He eats only boiled rice.
Yes, then since he has stopped breastfeeding, you can give formula milk, which will help him to gain weight, but that should be like maximum 2 times to 3 times a day. Mainly homemade food you need to incorporate, since your child is underweight. So homemade food, what you can give anything which should be in pureed form, like stewed apple, banana, anything like that. And if he eats parboiled rice, then it's fine. You can give oats porridge. You can add some fruits to it. Everything you can add, but the thing needs to be in semi-solid form. So you need to incorporate various homemade stuff, but don't give any commercial baby food which has certain agents which will increase your baby's weight gain, but that is not a healthy weight gain. To have a healthy weight gain, I would suggest you to give him or her homemade cooked items which will help him to gain weight. Like you can add mashed sweet potato or mashed potato, then banana. These will help to gain him weight.
Okay, ma'am. We have one more question from Ankita Sharma. Ankita, I am unmuting you. Please ask your question. Hello.
Ankita, you can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible now.
मैम, मेरे बेटे को ऑटिज्म है, तो उसके लिए मैं उसकी थेरेपी करवा रही हूँ. थेरेपी के अलावा भी और क्या क्या कर सकती हूँ मैं?
See, I have mentioned in the start of this webinar that you can eliminate certain food items from your child's diet so as to help him cope up with this autism. That is soya-based products, dairy products, and artificial sweeteners, artificial coloring agents, and corn and gluten-based products. If you are able to eliminate these food groups from your child's menu, as of now, till situation gets better, you will be able to help your child.
मैम ही इज ओनली 2 year old एंड ये कुछ भी नहीं खाता है.
So try to give him some products which are not made from gluten and dairy. Basically these two, because under this age group, you won't be able to give artificial sweeteners or coloring agents. So try to give home-based food which will not contain this gluten. Gluten is wheat products basically and dairy products. So ये दो group छोड़ के जो भी है वो दे सकते हैं.
थैंक यू मैम.
Thank you.
We have one more question from Ravinder Kaur. She's asking that her son is 8 years old and he's suffering from thyroid. What type of diet should we give? And his weight is 57.
Okay, your son is 10 years old and weight is 57 and suffering from thyroid. In thyroid, we normally ask to avoid soya-based products and cruciferous vegetables. Now, cruciferous vegetables include cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli, and also soya-based products like you need to eliminate soya bean, soya milk, and other soya-based products from your child's diet plan. And since he is 10 years and weight is 57, you need to concentrate on your weight, on his weight also. Try to maintain a diet which is low in calorie but also rich in complex carbohydrate, good fats, and protein, as I have said, to reduce his weight. Because at the age of 10 years, being 57 is a very serious is of a very serious concern. And as of thyroid, I have mentioned avoid cruciferous veggies, which will include cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and soya-based products.
Shalaka Belerio, she asked that boiled apple or juice is good for when we give morning boiled apple and evening apple juice, her child vomits.
I need to know the age of your child because it's better to have raw apple, neither juice nor this boiled form. But I think your child is very young, very small because you're talking about boiled apple, I mean stewed apple. So it's always better to have stewed apple. From question, if I can guess the age of your child is below 2, so it's better to give stewed apple. But if he is not willing to take stewed apple, then give him apple juice, but don't strain it. After making the apple juice, don't strain it. Give the juice as it is.
Yeah, so she says that her child age is 2 years.
Yes, as I was thinking, 2 years. So stewed apple is a nice option because he is able to get the whole apple. If he is not willing to take stewed apple, then the last option is to give him apple juice, but unstrained one.
Hanji. Deepika asked that do we need to avoid banana and citrus?
Do we need to avoid banana and citrus fruits?
Yeah.
Banana is a very good fruit, but yes, if your child is overweight or obese, you need to avoid it for the time being. Otherwise, banana is a very healthy fruit in growing children, in case of growing children. And coming to citrus fruit, they are very, very essential part in anyone's diet, be it children or adult or anything. So one citrus fruit a day is quite good. But yes, in very young children, citrus fruit, the pH thing is pretty low. So you can dilute it initial, like below 2 years, you can dilute the juice of sweet lime or orange and give it. But citrus fruit, you need to include.
Anyone, if you want to ask some, okay, we have one more question. Yeah. Whoever has raised the arm, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Hi, Misha. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, ma'am. Coming to milk again, I wanted to know that as these flavors are available in the market, like Bonvita, Horlicks, Protein X, are these advisable for children? Because every time, plain milk also becomes monotonous for children if they're having milk 2 times a day. So, are these advisable? Can we give them these flavors to the children below the age of
Absolutely.
4 or till the age of 5?
Absolutely no. You can go for natural ones, like you can add cocoa powder, you can add turmeric powder. Turmeric powder won't be able to taste good, but it will add color to your milk, to the glass of milk. And if he is able to take turmeric milk, that is good enough. Otherwise, go for cocoa milk. Cocoa, you can add cocoa powder to the milk, but don't add those commercially available Bonvita or Horlicks and all.
Okay, because ma'am, that's what I mean. I don't sometimes I just completely run short of giving flavors to them in winters, especially if we are staying in Delhi.
You can, yeah.
Hmm, because all the time also turmeric milk is not going to be taken by them. They show their tantrums and then they don't take it without sugar also and turmeric also. So it becomes very difficult to offer them milk like that. So that is why I just wanted to find out this.
Yes, you can give cardamom flavored milk. You can give the lychee flavored milk, which are these are available commercially also. But I would suggest to make homemade. Like you can give cardamom flavored milk, cinnamon flavored milk, like that.
Okay, and again without sugar, right?
Yes,
Only fruit.
absolutely.
And if we can use how much sugar should we give them? Any proportion of sugar that should go into their body on a daily basis, ma'am?
Raw sugar, I would suggest 1 teaspoon a day.
Okay, and if we're making some like dessert or something, then that's okay. That of course the quantity then goes, unchecked.
Yes, but again, the sweetness you need to see, you need to keep a check on the sweetness. Don't make it too sweet because their taste bud will develop that sweetness and they won't be able to take some products which are less sweet. Their taste
Okay,
buds would develop that thing that, yes, this is
okay,
not sweet. Even if you are
okay.
giving a sweet thing to eat, they will say, no, this is not sweet. As per my taste bud, sweet thing is something which you are adding too much of sugar or not.
Right, right.
So you
And
are the
ma'am,
one who are building this
yes,
flavoring
correct. I
thing.
agree. Completely. Yes, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ठीक, ma'am. Ma'am, कभी कभी can we use tea leaves also, like चाय पत्ती दूध में डाल के भी just to change the flavor of the milk? Is it advisable for children?
See, the tea leaves contain tannin, which is an anti-nutrient. So in case of children, I do not suggest to give intentionally tannin to their diet.
ओके ओके जस्ट इन केस जैसे कोल्ड कफ होता है हम जैसे तुलसी की चाय बना के देते हैं बच्चों को सो इज दैट आल्सो शुड बी कंप्लीटली अवॉइडेड और कैन वी गिव इट टू देम वंस इन अ व्हाइल
You can give kadha जो होता है ना, you
yes
can give
yes yes
that without the tea
okay
leaves. Without tea
without the
leaves.
tea leaves and green tea how I mean is it advisable green tea in winters or when they're having cold and cough or we should only
See,
give kadha
and Karha is a better option because under the
okay
age group of 12, 13, 14, we do not suggest them to have tea in any form, be it black tea or green tea or any other form.
okay ठीक है thank you ma'am thank you so much
We can take the last question for the webinar. Which food is having vitamin B12 or which supplement can I take? And that.
You can, yes, obviously, if you are not getting enough of vitamin B complex in your diet plan, then yes, you need to take a vitamin supplement in that even. And otherwise, the sources include various kinds of legumes and lentils and pulses in your like rajma, chole, and various kinds of pulses that are available. They contains high amount of vitamin B12 or vitamin B complex.
Hi, whoever wants to ask a question, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Also, if you have more questions, we have added an email ID. You can mail us your questions at contact@momsbelief.com with the subject line diet plan. Our team will entertain these questions.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, if there is exam stress for the kids, then what needs to be changed in the diet plan?
See, I don't know what you are giving, so I can't say what you need to change. I can say what you can incorporate. So
Yes.
when before the exam, a child suffers from natural anxiety and nervousness and all. So you should always plan a diet which should be high in complex carbohydrate, high in fiber, so that his tummy keeps full all the time. He doesn't feel the urge for this hunger, and his attention gets diverted. You should give whole boiled eggs. You can give oats. You can give almonds and walnuts, which are brain foods, so that he can get some relief from this anxiety and nervousness and all that. And also keeping himself or herself well hydrated would be a nice option.
And ma'am, if there should be any difference between the diet plan of a teenage girl and boy, like a teenage
Yeah.
girl.
Nothing as such, but the total calorie would be different. In case of boy, it would be slightly higher than girl. But coming to certain portions like iron, in case of iron, the iron proportion would be higher in girl than boy.
Okay,
So
ma'am. And
basic
ma'am,
thing is this.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my kid is right now toddler only, but she craves for sweets and desserts very much.
So you can make fruit-based popsicles for her, so that she can have this popsicles, which is a kind of dessert, and also fruit, which she is not taking directly. So you have to take the trouble so that she can have this natural-based products, but also at the very same time, it's like a dessert to her tongue.
Also, we have a workshop on 20th Feb on exam stress. You can join that also. Details for that are mentioned on a Facebook page. You can register for that workshop also. Ma'am, we'll unmute one more person, Pratibha. This will be the last question for this webinar, and rest others can mail their questions. So, ma'am, I'll be unmuting Pratibha now.
Okay.
हेलो मैम.
हेलो.
मेरा बेटा 5 साल का है और माइल्ड ऑटिस्टिक है मैम. वो ड्रॉलिंग बहुत करता है.
ओके.
और मैम थंब सक बहुत करता है, मतलब ऑल टाइम.
ओके.
हाइपर एक्टिव भी है, तो मैम उसके लिए आप बताइए कुछ.
So this is something which I've already mentioned, that to reduce this hyperactivity thing, you need to reduce the sugar content which you are already incorporating in his diet. Also, you need to completely switch off this dairy thing and gluten thing, like roti, chapati, जो भी है, जो wheat product का है, you need to eliminate this thing, and also this dairy based products.
मैम ड्रॉलिंग के लिए
ये सब काउंटेड है, एक साथ ही है. And you have to be patient in the last line goes like, think when you are dealing with a child who is going through this phase of autism, you need to be very patient. Like overnight kuch bhi nahi hoga. So if you are eliminating certain food from your child's diet, it will take some time for your child to react to that, and also for you to observe what is going on with your child.
Okay, thank you ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your time. It was really a very good and interactive webinar. And in fact, all of the questions have been answered by you. It gave us a great insight from all of us. And
Thank you so much.
So, yeah. I think we
Thank
should
you,
end
ma'am.
it.
Thank you so much for being a part, for asking me to be a part of this nice webinar.
Yeah, ma'am, sure. And we'll also be putting this recording on the YouTube so that other parents can also see. People who have missed this webinar, they can also view this session. Yeah. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am, for such an interactive
Thank you,
Thank you,
webinar.
sir.
Thank
everyone,
you.
whoever attended it. We are looking forward for more webinars. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you again.